Hi, I'm the Multifarious Fisherman. This is 7 Fish, and we are way out west today. Within my own state, traveling socially responsibly, however you want to refer to it. I'm going to tell you a tale of some successes and some failures, and I'm going to show you a really neat area of my state, and I'm going to, with a little luck, show you a couple of little colorful fish along the way. We woke up on the morning of day 2, already halfway to our destination. We went directly to Fort Robinson and proceeded to the Grable Ponds, which have been recently renovated. Was able to find a couple of rainbow, and one, actually first fish of the day, was a tiger trout, which had been a bucket list fish of mine. I managed to find a few of them, but very pleased to get a tiger out there. Cross between a brook trout and a brown trout. Neat little fish, cool looking. Explored the fort a little bit and proceeded on to where we were staying. Apologize, I'm a little bit hot. I haven't talked much, haven't filmed much. We drove out to a pretty remote area, the Panhandle of Nebraska. We are staying at a homestead. They have places, cabins or whatever to rent out. They also have a number of authentic 1880s, 1890s buildings. Somebody that owned this property prior to them had a penchant for the homesteader era. That happened in this part of the state in, as I mentioned, 1880, 1890. These buildings were original homestead buildings, not in this location, but in this general area. And they were taken apart, brought here, and put back together in what would look like a little town. Most of these buildings were a little more isolated. Homestead buildings, obviously, there was a certain requirement that you believe they were saying that it's a 12 by 12 building, and you had to live in it 6 months out of the year and till a certain amount of soil and plant a certain number of trees and be self-sufficient. As you can see behind me, I have a 2-cell jail and a what would be a sheriff's office. It actually was just a homesteader building, but the relatives of the left-handed hunter may have at one time been out here. We don't know. But you get a little rowdy, you get a little out of hand in a public establishment. You might find yourself spending the night. Not out of the realm of possibilities. We have a bison pelt. We also have a bison that was not particularly afraid of people. We also have these two guys, a couple of donkeys, which were pretty neat. You could actually feed them some alfalfa. They definitely did it on their own terms. They were not particularly tame, but willing and spirited, let's say. They had a number of cats around the property, help with the rodents. The obligatory jackalope. It's a pretty good one. It'll be a 2-year-old. With my wife on this trip, she booked this location. It's really cool. I'm really pleased that she did. It's not the Super 8. A little more charm, a little more character than that. A little bit more expense involved, but not crazy. We have access via this gate to not a fishing destination, but the Ogallala National Grasslands. We go through this V gate, step out here, you have a dry waterway there that I'm sure when it rains gets plenty of water in it, but national grasslands, arid for sure, definitely. I've seen several mule deer already and one very close to here, less than a mile on the drive in. Also, there should be antelope out here. I haven't seen one yet, but it's always a highlight when I come out this way. I always enjoy seeing an antelope because we just don't have a ton. Pretty cool down here. I better get back though. Here's a prickly pear. That one's definitely seen better days, been mowed over a few times. Those are all over out here. You don't want to step on them with sandals on. We're in a Crispies today, and so I'm less worried about them. I'm worried a little bit about the pointy snakes. They got some sharp mouth snakes out here, little rattlesnakes, and obviously you don't want to get bit by that. And be smart where you step. Keep your eyes on the ground. Put down your texting devices and enjoy where you're at. Day 3, ran to the Soldier Creek Wilderness area to try to locate some of the brook trout that live out in that area in Soldier Creek. Sorry I'm breathing hard. I'm at a little bit of elevation here, and we are in the wilderness area. I really don't know where I'm going. I know that the creek runs over here. It's not much of a creek. I'm on a trail, and I'm hoping it leads to some access, but there's no guarantees. It's looking pretty grown over here. We do have some rattly snakes out this way. Gonna try to avoid them. This disappears into some pretty good brush. So I'm probably gonna turn this off. It's not particularly successful because I failed to do enough research, didn't know exactly where to go, took a walking path to try to get there and stayed along the creek. Was probably not the right strategy. There's very minimal amount of water in that particular part of the creek. So I went actually and fished a couple of other ponds. This water is definitely a little dirtier than the other set of ponds that we fished. Doesn't mean they don't have fish in them. The fish gotta eat, so you gotta hate wasting time and opportunities, but at the same time, you don't know if you don't check. I mean, I'm not getting chased or nothing here. Alright, here's a very skinny, not super healthy looking rainbow. This one's a little better looking rainbow. Came off. That's okay though. We were gonna let him go anyway. Okay. Fly red rainbow. Moving. Just keep moving to cover in water, getting in front of new fish. Having fun.